huge hit by Erik Gudbranson.
I thought we went and played physical after that. If you think we're going to jump off the bench and go run after him and jump him, it's not happening. That's not the way the game is played anymore.
Ekblad takes a hard hit from Matt Hendricks. And now it's Logan Shaw and Hendricks. Two teams that have not played each other very much certainly have had their blood boiling tonight.
It's going to be an interesting one in South Florida tonight between the Panthers and the Oilers. Plenty of storylines. One prevalent one from the weekend we have on the line, Peter Chiarelli, GM of the Oilers, to discuss it. Peter, welcome to Tim and Sid. Good to talk to you.
It's good to be on with you guys.
Cam Talbot, 3 years, $12.5 million. How long did this negotiation take to get done?
We kind of talked in abstract over the course of the fall. And then with someone on a single-year deal, you can't really do it officially until the new year, January 1. So we had been exchanging some ideas in that, and like there's some guys out there that are close comparable, some that aren't, and so we kind of just got at it, and it came around fairly quickly.
Why was it important to lock him up to at least a mid-term deal?
Well, we obviously feel strongly about him as a goaltender, so you want to try and get him signed. The question that was asked to me a couple of shows today was like, why didn't you wait? And I mean, you can be damned if you do, damned if you don't. And you have to look at all the factors, character, technique, size, a number of factors. Those are only three that you have to look at and make a decision. And I think the term was good. The term was good for Cam. It gives him a kind of a bridge to build on a much bigger deal if he has the success he has, and it's good for us. It's good for us too. It's not too long, but it's enough that he can really help us take the next step. So just it's someone that I was able to see firsthand for 2 years in the East. He had a little bit of a downturn there with us. But, what really impressed me was his ability to work through that, make some adjustments. And and when you're a number one goalie, you have to have that kind of longevity, that long-term thinking to know that if your play's off a little bit, you're not going to lose what you have. You just have to work through it to get it back. And he really showed me he's able to do that. So you piece it all together, you make a decision, and you sign him.
It's interesting because in Boston, you had some pretty good Vezina quality goaltenders that you picked up in your time with the Bruins. Do you feel like, I'm not going to say he's a Vezina winner, but do you feel like he has that elite upside?
I was so impressed with him last year when he played for the Rangers, and his conditioning is by all accounts, because we didn't have him last year, is getting better and better. He's still relatively young. I don't know about that, but I see a technical goalie who's athletic, who's very competitive, and he's a real good goalie, and we just haven't seen a lot of him. And he makes saves that you expect from top-notch number one guys on a regular basis now. Now, he's never played 55, 60 games like a number one guy, so there's the risk associated with this contract, but he's got all the ingredients, and that's why we were comfortable moving forward.
Peter, if you didn't get this done, how many teams next summer, hypothetically, do you think you would have to be competing against to re-sign Cam as a UFA? Because the field next summer, with all due respect to everyone on it, it's not the strongest goalie class in free agent history.
Yeah, well, you have to look at that. You got to look at teams that I think it's too easy to just look at teams who have quote unquote starting goalies, because there are teams that called me on him this year that were different from the teams that were trying to acquire him when we were trying to acquire him. So I don't know. You know what? It's a delicate balance that a GM faces when there's UFAs, because you've got the kind of the impending market. You got to gauge the market, but It's unfortunate when you get into that UFA market because all it takes is one team that wants to pay. So it's risky. It doesn't mean you just go out and sign everybody, but you have to do it properly and whatnot. But who knows how many teams would have been after him in the UFA season.
On the road with the team in Florida, and the fan base kind of salivating over this game, given what happened the last game between the Panthers and the Oilers. How do you, if at all, try and convince the boys that this is just another game where you're trying to get 2 points?
Well, fortunately, I don't have to convince them. That's Todd's job. But I just, I mean, there's going to be some emotion just because of the physicality of the last game, and frankly, that's good. I'm fine with that because it gets, we've been having struggles on the road, and it's good to have, a little something extra to play for. You know what? These guys are professionals. There's always little storylines in each game, and what I hope is that we've had 7 or 8 one-goal games in a row, and I hope our guys we're in these games, so I hope our guys continue to show progress and being able to close off some games. So if it's a physical game, that's good, and a good close road game would be good for us.
Earlier on in the show, we were talking about I'll ask you more of a GM question, but we were talking a little bit about the new system of justice in the NHL, and the Panthers' last game with you guys got physical with your skill, your high-end skill. You guys got physical with their high-end skill. We saw it last night with Henrik Sedin in the Islanders-Canucks game when they got physical with Sedin and the Canucks responded by getting physical with Tavares. As a GM with some pretty high-end talent, do you see the game going this way, and are you okay with it?
I don't think that's anything new.
Yeah.
I think it's maybe been revitalized, but I don't think that's anything new. What as a GM, first, what I think happening is that the strict enforcer is leaving the game.
Gone. Yeah.
So then you've got everyone wants to have more or less physical components to their team. So you've got those guys, and you try and to a certain degree varies from team to team to play a physical game, and so there's no exclusions on the ice. But when someone gets hit now, it looks like it results in a fight. So a good clean head, like an open ice hit or something, that results in a fight. So I guess that to me, is not necessarily new, but it's becoming more prevalent. So is the consequence of that meaning like a physical player goes after a skilled player? Maybe, but that's not new. Yeah. I think it's just more prevalent because you don't have the enforcer anymore.
Yeah, it's almost old school.
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Peter, I'm contractually obligated to ask about 97. What's the latest?
Well, I'll reiterate what Todd said, that he won't be back before the All-Star break, so I can tell you that. He's chomping at the bit, I can tell you that. So he's got a couple more kind of medical milestones to get through, but he's chomping at the bit, and you'll see him before you know it.
Peter, good stuff. Should be a fun one tonight in South Florida. We appreciate your time. You're a busy man. Thanks for this.
Okay, thanks, guys.